I'd like to tell you a story. And pay attention, because this could be you. In the summer of 1985, I sat in the theater and watched in stupor as Marty McFly invented rock and roll. And since that moment, I've been on a mission. I'm Nate the Rocksmith, and this is Rock Radar Reviews. In today's mission, the revenge of Alice Cooper, the reunion of the original Alice Cooper band, of course, minus guitarist Glen Buxton, who passed in 1997. Reviewing Alice Cooper in 2026 is a weird assignment. With Bob Ezrin back as producer and co-writer, you think you know what you're getting. The real question isn't what it'll sound like, but how it translates today. My history goes back with Alice Cooper about 30 years as a fan. I knew a handful of songs, or at least I thought I did, and then I saw Alice at a Halloween show in 2001. And realized just how deep that catalog ran and how many songs I knew and loved from the original Alice Cooper band era. And I've always compared Alice to Ozzy Osbourne in this way. After their band splits, they both leaned into a more glossy hair metal, mainstream metal sort of vibe. Tracks like Poison, Hey Stupid, Feed My Frankenstein, they just never hit the same as Billion Dollar Babies, 18 Schools Out, and Welcome to My Nightmare. And I will also check in with my good friend, Mrs. Doubtful, for a second opinion.
In fact, I worked at a restaurant out in Arizona where he was part owner. And he would have a Halloween party every year. And my husband and I went. We had a great time. We partied with him. The nicest, gentlest, amazing human on the planet. And then
first of all, I didn't know you had a personal experience with Alice Cooper. That's amazing.
I did.
So going into this reunion, my hope was simple. Are we getting pre-band split Alice or post-band split Alice? The answer, a little bit of both. And I was mostly okay with that. Several tracks successfully tapped into that old classic vaudevillian creepiness that Alice does so well.
I think I'll hide inside your bed sheets.
Has there ever been anybody that's kept their creepy persona more than Alice Cooper throughout the years? Black Mamba, Kill the Flies, One Night Stand. Real cool, subtle grooves and restraint that feel genuinely reminiscent of the original lineup. And these songs don't try to overpower you. They lurk, which is exactly what classic Alice Cooper does. What didn't work nearly as well was the modern polish and at least a couple auto-tune instances that still don't sit well with me, because I'd rather Alice Cooper just sound old, okay? Because he is old. That's not an insult, that's an asset. Write about it. Tracks like Wild Ones and Up All Night. It just sounds like a recreation of an 80s hair metal song in a way. Just reliving the debauchery from the old days. I don't like when Motley Crue does it either. Feel less like swagger and more like an old creep hovering at last call trying to pick up 25-year-olds. Thankfully, several other songs kept my interest. Intergalactic Vagabond Blues is a black. Songs that are boring and they don't keep you guessing. You can kind of just catch when the fucking changes are and you know where everything's going to be. And that was super fun, just trying to figure out where it was going to go, and I didn't really know. And that's fun, man. It's hard to do with a blues song. What Happened to You feels like a lightly disguised Seeger nod, which I was completely on board with. And What a Sid with its stray cattish strut style is fun as hell. And this is fun. I like this. The ah is super catchy. There's a couple songs back where it was ooh, and I was like, ew. I don't need a couple borderline duds. The crap that gets in your way of your dreams in content is something I can vibe with, but the execution just doesn't land musically or lyrically. The biggest disappointment is probably Blood on the Sun, because it showed so much promise the first half of the song. Yeah, I like that. Classic Alice. Nuanced, eerie, demented, without any campiness to it. Building. And setting up what should be genuine rock and roll payoff. Where is this going to go? Very interesting. But it doesn't. I'm not going to lie, this has left me completely dissatisfied the second half of the song. The solo, which I'm not a solo guy. I love guitar, but if a solo doesn't fit the song, which it did not here, it completely sends everything in the wrong direction. And instead of a fantastic rock and roll climax that I was hoping for, it drains the momentum and lands somewhere painfully boring. Now, before my take on The Revenge of Alice Cooper, I want to bring in a second opinion from Mrs. Doubtful. How'd you feel about this?
It made me sad because that record made him sound so old. Bro, I'm 51 years old. I need to be in bed by 9 p.m. at the latest.
Exactly.
So please don't tell me you're up all night partying, because you, sir, it just felt weird. It is what it is, and it felt like he was trying to recapture his youth. I was just like, oh, and it sounded overproduced, like they were hiding, but overproduced and trying to overcompensate for his voice isn't what it used to be.
In the end, The Revenge of Alice Cooper isn't bad at all. All right, solid riffs, fun grooves, and flashes of old Alice Cooper magic. Some of the nightmare theatrical stuff sometimes works, sometimes forced. A few songs with cool musical ideas are either undercut by weak or maybe immature lyrics, and at least a couple questionable songwriting choices probably prevent this album from being great. But as a whole, it's flawed, uneven, some cool stuff, kind of sort of rad, you know? And check back with me at a later date and time for my next review. I'm Nate the Rocksmith, and this is Rock Radar Reviews.